There is a reason you feel empty when you wake up, a reason you feel restless at night. You were not made for comfort, but you've been drowning in it. Every hour you waste feeling good, you kill the man you were born to become. And you don't even notice, because comfort doesn't scream, it whispers. It convinces you that tomorrow is fine, that small pleasures are harmless, that taking it easy is self-care. It is self-destruction, slow, smiling destruction. If you continue living like this, half awake, half driven, half alive, you will die full of potential and empty of purpose. But if you can sit still, if you can listen to this entire speech with your whole mind and not flinch, not drift, I promise you this: you will never look at comfort the same again. You will hate what once pacified you. You will burn with discipline. You will feel shame when you waste time. You will begin to love what is hard, because you will realize that the pain you avoid is the very gate to the life you've begged for. And once you finish listening to this, if you obey it, if you repeat it, if you act on it, you will become dangerous. Dangerous to mediocrity, dangerous to your excuses, dangerous to every weakness that used to control you. The man you could be is locked behind every soft choice you make. This speech is the key, but only if you stay, only if you listen all the way through. Let us begin. Introduction: the pleasure trap, your invisible cage. There is a prison more dangerous than bars of steel, a trap more powerful than fear. It does not announce itself, it does not shout, it soothes, it comforts, it whispers that you are fine just as you are, and it does so to kill you slowly. That trap is pleasure, that prison is comfort, and you have lived inside it for far too long. If you finish listening to this and do not drift, you will not only believe in yourself, you will no longer be capable of stopping yourself. You will become the very force you've been seeking, but only if you do not break the rhythm of this message. For every word that follows is not meant to entertain. It is meant to liberate you from the invisible chains you've mistaken for safety. Comfort is not a luxury, it is a test, and you are failing it. Because comfort rewards you now, so that you remain weak forever. It gives you the feeling of winning, while it robs you of your edge, your will, your clarity, your desire. Pleasure is the new poverty. It bankrupts you not in currency, but in character. There was a time when men feared hard labor. Now they fear discomfort. There was a time when men built empires. Now they build excuses. And the root of it all is this: they have made pleasure their god. They seek what feels good instead of what builds strength. They chase relief instead of results. They have chosen softness over supremacy, and they wonder why they cannot rise. You must now look at your life with brutal clarity. Every indulgence you justify is a stone in the wall that cages your potential. Every hour of ease you excuse is an insult to the man you were designed to become. If you do not burn these comforts, they will burn your greatness, and you will not even know it until it is far too late. Comfort is seductive because it gives you nothing while demanding nothing, but that is precisely why it is so dangerous. Nothingness is not peace, it is decay. And you, my friend, were not made to rot. You were made to rise, but you cannot rise when you are always resting. You cannot conquer when you are always consuming. You cannot become unstoppable when you are constantly pacified. I have told you before, nature hates idleness. It rewards effort. It honors decision. It crowns the man who moves forward in the face of fire, not the one who curls up next to it for warmth. Comfort is not the reward of the successful, it is the poison of the average. And if you want to be more than average, you must develop an allergy to ease. You must begin to feel disgust, not delight when you are wasting time. You must begin to feel shame, not celebration, when you indulge what weakens you. And that shame, if it is honest, will become your sword. Because no man rises until he is willing to call out his own softness and destroy it at the root. You want power? then reject ease. You want greatness, then deny what feels good and do what makes you great. You want to become a force, then stop seeking pleasure and start seeking purpose. Let this speech be the last comfort you entertain, because after this your life will become a training ground, and you will train yourself to rule. The man who indulges daily and grows soft never builds the mind or character necessary for greatness. He cannot hold the weight of success because his muscles were never formed. He cannot command respect because his eyes have grown dull. He cannot lead because he cannot first govern himself. And the world has no place for a man who cannot rule himself. But you are not beyond hope. You are not beyond strength. You are only beyond excuse. You know too much now to go back. You have heard the call, and I promise you this. Once you reject the seduction of comfort, once you taste the fire of purpose, once you begin to build with pain instead of escaping it, you will never return to the man you were before. You will become allergic to idleness. You will burn with direction. You will become addicted to becoming rather than basking. And others will look at you and wonder what changed. But you will know. You heard a message that shattered the lie of comfort, and you decided to become who you were meant to be. So say this now with full conviction. I reject ease. I choose power. I trade the comfort of now for the greatness of forever. And now that you have said it, live it. Listen to this speech as if your life depends on it, because it does. Let each word strip away the old you. Let each command burn the weakness out of you. And let each truth you hear echo until your soul rises to match the man you are now destined to become. Let us begin. Part 1. The Great Exchange. You trade your future for a feeling. Every indulgence without purpose is a transaction. You may not realize it, but you are trading something each time you surrender to what feels good but builds nothing. That pleasure you give yourself, it comes at a cost. And that cost is always the same, the strength you could have built instead. Let me speak plainly. You are exchanging your future for a feeling. Every time you choose ease over effort, escape over endurance, entertainment over execution, you are not just wasting time, you are weakening your destiny. You are spending tomorrow's greatness to afford today's relief, and the price is far higher than you know. You were not made to be pacified. You were made to be powerful. But power is not handed to the man who needs comfort to function. Power bows only to the man who trains when tired, works when uninspired, and moves forward while others drift. The man who wins does not wait to feel ready. He acts and lets his emotions follow his will. That is why you must now see pleasure as a thief. It sneaks in dressed as a gift, but it steals your fire in silence. It convinces you that comfort is success, that reward is deserved without demand, that discipline is optional. And once you believe this, you are no longer a builder. You are a beggar, waiting for motivation to rescue you. But motivation is weak. It is momentary. What you need is conviction, the kind that chooses growth over gratification every single time. And that only comes when you stop seeing pleasure as harmless, because it is not. It is the greatest destroyer of discipline ever created. Discipline does not die in one blow. It dies in 1,000 quiet comforts. You must now reclaim your fire, and you begin by examining your exchanges. What are you trading your focus for? What are you trading your strength for? What are you surrendering in exchange for nothing but a chemical trick inside the brain? I have studied the minds of the wealthiest, most successful men of my generation. I sat with Ford. I listened to Carnegie. I examined Edison, Schwab, Rockefeller. And do you know what I found? Not brilliance, not genius, but this: unshakable, often brutal, self-control. They were masters of their appetite. Take Henry Ford, a man mocked for his ideas, laughed at for his simplicity. But he held a vision that burned hotter than every temptation to relax. He could have chosen ease. He had the money, the means, the comfort, But he chose discomfort with a purpose. He chose to serve mankind by revolutionizing transportation. He was not led by pleasure, he was led by a mission. And what of you? Are you led by vision or distracted by cravings? Do you rise with decision or fall to convenience? You will know the answer not by what you intend, but by what you repeatedly do. Every day you are given the opportunity to multiply your power or fragment your will. Self-control multiplies. Comfort fragments. You were not given desire so that you could drown it in indulgence. You were given desire so you could direct it and build something eternal with it. But desire left untrained becomes craving, and craving without control becomes addiction. And addiction, whether to sugar, to sloth, to comfort, or to distraction, is the enemy of all success. If you do not destroy it, it will destroy you. Let us return to this idea. You are not here to feel better. You are here to become better. Let that phrase haunt you. Let it replace the justification you give when you say, I deserve this. You deserve nothing you have not earned through effort. You are not owed rest until you have given your best. And even then, the greatest reward is not rest, but momentum. You must begin to act with the mind of the man you wish to become. And that man does not chase relief, he chases conquest. He feels the temptation to indulge, but he does not obey it. Why? Because his future is too valuable to sell for the price of temporary comfort. Say this now. I am not here to feel better. I am here to become better. Say it again, with force, with finality. This is not a phrase, it is your new law. If you build your life around how you feel, you will fail, because feelings are liars. They say, it's too hard when you are one action away from a breakthrough. They say, you've done enough when you've barely begun. They say, take a break when you need to take command. Do not follow feelings, follow principles. And here is one that will change your life. The man who denies pleasure today is building the foundation of strength for tomorrow. The man who obeys his weakness today will spend his life wondering what he could have been. Let me be clear, pain is not your enemy. Comfort is. Because pain builds you, comfort breaks you. And the more you avoid pain, the more you must endure failure. Because success has never been the prize of the man who played it safe. It is the reward of the man who kept working when pleasure screamed for his attention and he refused to listen. You must now rewire your values. Pleasure is not good. Purpose is good. Comfort is not success. Completion is success. Indulgence is not a reward. It is a test. And you fail it every time you say yes to ease and no to effort. Let us now declare new affirmations. Say them aloud. Let your mind hear its new instructions. I am not here to feel better. I am here to become better. Every indulgence is a trade, and I trade nothing for weakness. I do not chase relief, I chase mastery. I will become the man who does not flinch in the face of desire. These are not words, they are spiritual weapons. Use them daily. Let them become your shield when temptation calls your name. Let them become your sword when old patterns rise to drag you down. This is the great exchange. Trade pleasure for pain. Trade ease for endurance. Trade comfort for conquest. And I promise you, you will gain more than you ever imagined. Let us continue. Part 2, the seduction of safety. Why comfort is more dangerous than failure. Let me offer you a truth that should shake you. Safety is more dangerous than failure. For when you fail, you still move, you still learn. But when you chase safety, you stop growing entirely. Safety is stagnation wearing the mask of wisdom. And the man who seeks to protect himself from all pain inevitably shelters himself from all progress. The world has sold you a lie, that the goal of life is comfort, security, predictability, that your worth is determined by how little risk you take. But I tell you now, security is slavery. It chains your imagination. It suffocates your desire. It kills your ambition quietly and praises you for being reasonable. The greatest threat to your greatness is not hardship, it is habit. It is settling. It is doing just enough to survive, never enough to soar. And the root of it all is the seductive promise of safety. The idea that if you stay small, stay hidden, stay quiet, life will treat you kindly. But life does not reward the careful. It rewards the courageous. When I wrote Outwitting the Devil, I revealed the invisible forces that destroy a man without him ever realizing it. And among them, none was more insidious than the fear of discomfort. The devil does not destroy men with pain. He destroys them with pleasure, with comfort, with safety, with the slow rhythm of mediocrity. I called it hypnotic rhythm, that slow, unchallenged drift toward average. The man who fears risk falls into it. He stops trying. He stops dreaming. And soon he forgets that he was ever meant for more. He becomes obedient, not to his purpose, but to the pattern. He becomes what I call a drifter. And make no mistake, drifting is not harmless. It is death wearing the costume of calm. The man who drifts thinks he is resting. In truth, he is rotting. The man who drifts thinks he is stable. In truth, he is stuck. And the longer he drifts, the harder it becomes to rise again. Let us now contrast two men. One you know well, John D. Rockefeller. The other is the forgotten man, the one who feared risk, who chose security, who never dared. You've never heard his name. Why? Because history does not record the careful. It records the committed. Rockefeller saw opportunity in danger. He saw power in boldness. While others saved pennies, he shaped industries. He did not seek safety. He sought sovereignty. And he achieved it by stepping beyond what others feared. He moved boldly. He acted decisively. He did not consult the crowd. He did not check whether the world would approve. He knew that comfort is the enemy of creation, and so he walked straight through discomfort and built his name into history. What of you? Will you be forgotten because you feared what must be done? Will you be erased by time because you stayed quiet, careful, content? Or will you rise? Will you be one of the few who choose to live dangerously, not recklessly, but purposefully, bold enough to endure pain, strong enough to face discomfort, and wise enough to know that safety is a silent killer? Say this now. I live beyond the fences of fear. Say it again. I defy the comfort that keeps me small. This is the beginning of self-mastery. To reject the illusion of safety and embrace the reality of risk. For risk is not your enemy. It is your teacher. It reveals your weakness. It forces you to grow. It carves character from confusion. And it rewards you with confidence that cannot be stolen because it was earned in fire. Safety asks for nothing and gives nothing. You want more? Then risk more. Not recklessly, but with purpose, with calculation, with faith. You were not made to hide behind predictability. You were made to shape reality with your decision. You were made to conquer. The man who seeks safety builds walls, but he does not build a legacy. He gains comfort, but loses confidence. He protects his life, but never lives it. And when death comes, he will realize that what he protected was not worth keeping, and what he lost can never be regained. Let us now define comfort for what it truly is, a sedative, a mental opiate. It dulls your edge, it pacifies your hunger, it rewards you with the feeling of satisfaction while quietly stealing your future. It does not ask for your life all at once, it takes it day by day in quiet rituals of surrender. So I say again, safety is more dangerous than failure, because failure refines, comfort corrupts. Every time you choose what is easy over what is essential, you lose a piece of yourself. Every time you hide from discomfort, you become smaller. Every time you say not today, you train your soul to retreat. But you can reverse it. You can become dangerous again. You can live on the edge of your ability, push past fear, and become the man you were designed to be. Not a man who survives, but a man who builds, expands, commands. Let us now speak new affirmations. Let your subconscious mind hear the orders of your higher self. I live beyond the fences of fear. I defy the comfort that keeps me small. I do not seek safety. I seek strength. I grow by choice, not by chance. Say them now. Speak them until they settle deep. These are not casual statements. These are your new orders, your new identity, your new foundation. You will not be remembered for how carefully you lived. You will be remembered for how courageously you acted. And you begin that courage with one decision: to stop living for safety and to start living for strength. Let us now move forward into the truth, into the fire, into the next revelation. Part 3. The death of desire, why the comfortable man never achieves. Desire is the starting point of all achievement. But what most men never realize is this: desire is also fragile. It must be fed. It must be protected. It must be preserved. Because if you leave it exposed to comfort, it will die, quietly, slowly, without resistance. And once your desire is gone, you are gone with it. Desire is not a soft wish. It is a white-hot flame. It is the inner roar that says, I will not leave this earth as an echo. I will leave it as a name. But if that desire is not defended, it is dulled. If it is not reinforced daily by discipline, it is replaced by distraction. And that is what the world excels at, distracting you from your destiny with pleasure. Make no mistake, comfort kills desire. A man who feels good too often forgets why he must become great. A man who feeds his senses daily begins to neglect his soul. He exchanges the fire of his future for the warmth of now. And before long, the lion in him becomes a lamb, tamed, tired, content. The man who is comfortable will not move mountains. He will not risk humiliation. He will not push past exhaustion. He will not endure ridicule. He will not build anything that outlives him, because he no longer burns. He simmers. He drifts. He sleeps. This is why so many talented men die unknown. They did not lack ability, they lacked desire, and they lost it when they began to prioritize comfort over calling, when they sought pleasure more often than they sought purpose, when they chose to feel good instead of become good. Let us now study the man who preserved his desire until it changed the world, Thomas Edison. 10,000 failed attempts to create the electric light, 10,000. Not because he enjoyed the struggle, but because he would not let go of the vision. He did not give in to rest. He did not surrender to ease. His desire outlasted failure, and the world now lives in the light born from that flame. But Edison's genius was not in his mind. It was in his discipline, his willingness to suffer for something higher, his capacity to hold a vision so clearly, so constantly, that no comfort could replace it. That is what you must now develop, a desire too powerful to be seduced. And how did Edison sustain that fire? With repetition, with faith, with autosuggestion. He spoke the result into existence before the result existed. He walked with the belief that what was not yet seen would become seen, and every action he took confirmed that belief. This is what I taught you in Think and Grow Rich. Desire backed by faith knows no such word as impossible. But desire alone is not enough. It must be fed by vision. It must be guarded by decision. It must be sustained by action. If not, it will rot in the shallow grave of pleasure. And here we must speak of something most fear to name: sexual transmutation. I taught this truth plainly. The same energy that creates life, the strongest of all human impulses, when redirected, becomes genius, becomes wealth, becomes achievement. But when wasted, when dissipated through indulgence, it becomes weakness. A man who wastes his sexual energy, who releases it without control, who lives to satisfy rather than sublimate, drains the very fuel of his greatness. His eyes lose their shine. His voice loses its force. His posture bends. He becomes ruled by the lower, and the higher never awakens. But the man who masters this fire, who withholds and channels, who transmutes instead of squanders, he becomes a weapon. He becomes magnetized. His presence grows heavier. His direction becomes sharp. He speaks less but commands more, because desire, once controlled, becomes destiny. Let us be clear. I am not asking you to become cold. I am commanding you to become directed. Desire is not evil. It is holy, but it must be consecrated, given to a purpose, mated to a mission, poured into a definite chief aim that you repeat daily with emotion until it becomes the air you breathe. Say this now. I feed my desire with vision, not with comfort. My craving is for greatness, not relief. Say it again. My fire is focused. I transmute. I rise. These affirmations are not superstition. They are science. They are mental programming. Each word spoken with belief is a seed planted in the subconscious. And what you plant, you will harvest. But do not forget, if you plant indulgence, you reap weakness. If you plant excuses, you reap regret. Now hear me. If your desire is fading, it is because you are feeding the wrong appetite. You are feeding your senses while starving your soul. You are filling time instead of fulfilling purpose. And until you reverse it, until you choose the pain of growth over the pleasure of stagnation, you will remain caged by comfort. There is only one cure: daily fire. Wake up early, speak your aim aloud, declare who you are becoming, train your body, direct your thought, resist the impulse, act with decisiveness, and above all, reject the easy path, for it leads only to erosion. Let us now affirm this truth in full. I crave conquest, not comfort. I no longer serve my pleasure, I command my power. I transmute energy into excellence. My desire is not a whisper, it is a war cry. These are the foundations of a new identity, one that no longer bends under the weight of desire, but wields it like a sword, one that does not sleep when it is time to build, one that does not break when tested, but burns brighter. You are not weak, you are undisciplined. And discipline begins by refusing the impulse and choosing the aim. The higher, the harder, the holier path. That is the man who becomes unstoppable. And that is the man you are becoming. Let us now press forward. The flame has been lit. Now we must learn to suffer with joy, because what you resist becomes your strength. Part 4. The pleasure-pain principle. Why true mastery begins in suffering. No man becomes great without suffering. Let me repeat that. No man becomes great without suffering. Not because pain is inherently noble, but because pain is the only force sharp enough to cut through weakness, to separate the soft from the strong, to expose what is true beneath what is tolerable. The modern man flees pain. He has been trained to do so. He has been taught to see suffering as something to avoid at all costs. But what he does not know is this: his comfort is the very reason he suffers. He suffers from doubt, from mediocrity, from the agony of a small life because he refused the holy fire of discipline. You must understand, the pain of growth is not punishment, it is preparation. It is not cruelty, it is calibration. When you choose discomfort with a purpose, you are not being crushed, you are being carved, sculpted, refined. Every ounce of struggle is shaping you into something more, something rarer, something unbreakable. I once said the pain of discipline weighs ounces. The pain of regret weighs tons. That law has never changed. The man who chooses the pain of now becomes the master of tomorrow. The man who avoids it becomes its slave. Pain is coming either way. The only difference is what it buys you. If you will suffer for purpose, you will rise in power. But if you avoid all pain, you will suffer endlessly, without reward, without glory, without transformation. The choice is not whether you will hurt, the choice is why you will hurt. One leads to greatness, the other leads to guilt. Let me give you the story of a man who demanded pain, Andrew Carnegie. When I first met him, he asked me to devote 20 years of my life to a task I had no idea how to accomplish. No salary, no guarantee of success, just a definite chief aim, a handshake, and a test. a test of my willingness to suffer for something greater than myself. He knew that only those willing to suffer could be trusted to succeed. He knew that the road to riches was not paved with comfort, but carved through resistance. He gave me no ease. He gave me an opportunity to become worthy, and I thank God he did, because what I became in those years was forged in fire. And what you are becoming must also be forged. You cannot build a masterpiece with soft hands and a soft mind. You must enter the pressure. You must learn to rejoice in discomfort, not as a masochist, but as a master. Let us speak clearly now. You are either suffering for nothing or suffering for something. If you choose to suffer for nothing, life will still hand you pain, but it will give you no progress. But if you suffer for something, if you choose to endure hardship for a vision, for discipline, for identity, you will become a man others cannot recognize. Do not wait for life to force you to grow. Choose to grow now. Choose to do what is difficult. Choose to wake up early, to say no to indulgence, to sit in silence, to delay pleasure, to push through fatigue, to train your will. This is your proving ground. And if you're afraid of suffering, remember this: the pain of today is the pride of tomorrow. The struggle of now becomes the story of forever. You will look back and bless the fire. You will thank the hardship, because without it you would have remained a stranger to your own power. Let us now speak the words that rewire your mind. I rejoice in discomfort. I endure suffering with joy. My pain is proof of progress. What I resist becomes my reward. Say them, speak them, let them burn. These are not affirmations of the weak. These are the declarations of men who rise, of men who do not flinch, of men who walk forward while others fall behind, because they know mastery begins in suffering. And what is mastery? It is not ease. It is not applause. It is not a finish line. Mastery is becoming so aligned with your purpose that you no longer run from pain. You walk with it like a companion. It is no longer the enemy. It is the entrance. Suffering without a cause breaks a man, but suffering chosen with direction builds a man that nothing can destroy. He becomes forged, focused, fierce. He does not wait to feel ready. He acts and forces readiness to catch up. So I ask you now, will you continue to chase comfort and call it happiness? Or will you pursue hardship and discover what greatness truly demands? Say this now and let the world hear it through your decision. I do not escape pain. I use it. I do not retreat from discomfort. I rejoice in it, because I know that pain is the forge of power. Let the soft men run. Let the comfort seekers hide. You were not born for escape. You were born for fire, and the fire is waiting. Walk into it. Part 5. Modern Slaves of Pleasure. How society trains you to stay weak. The average man believes he is free. He walks about with pride, convinced he is the captain of his soul. But if you strip away the illusions, what you find is not freedom. You find obedience, not to truth, not to purpose, but to comfort. He is a slave, and his master is pleasure. Today's man is no longer forced to labor under chains or rulers. His bondage is mental, invisible, painless, and for that very reason it is the most effective form of slavery the devil has ever devised. You do not fight what you enjoy. You do not rebel against what pleases you, and so you become a prisoner who defends his cage. Look around you. Look at what men now call life: distraction, indulgence, pacification, instant meals, mindless pleasures, hollow rewards. The average man no longer dreams. He entertains. He no longer climbs. He consumes. And the system is built to keep him obedient to ease. Do you think this is by accident? It is not. The devil has no need to destroy you. He only needs to make you satisfied. He only needs to convince you that effort is cruelty, that discomfort is abuse, that hardship is unnecessary. And once he does, he will not need to stop you. You will stop yourself. The school system does not teach courage, it teaches compliance. The media does not inspire strength, it sells sedation. Advertising does not elevate your mind, it whispers that you are not enough, and that pleasure will make you whole. These institutions are not neutral, they are programs, and you have been programmed to be weak. But you were not made to be weak, you were made to choose truth over pleasure, purpose over passivity. And until you reclaim that power to choose, you are not a man. You are a machine in a system designed to waste you. Let us now speak of mental fasting. You must learn to deny the impulse, not because the pleasure is evil, but because the discipline is divine. Say no. Wait. Endure. Train your mind to sit in stillness. Teach your flesh that it is not in control. Reclaim the reins of your attention. Begin with small acts of denial. Delay the first bite. Rise at the first alarm. Finish the task before the reward. Withhold the indulgence. These are not minor acts. They are the building blocks of sovereignty. You are retraining a mind that has been taught to obey the loudest urge. And what happens when you delay gratification? Your vision sharpens. Your energy consolidates. Your willpower multiplies. Because what you do not waste becomes your weapon. What you withhold builds your edge. What you delay becomes fuel for achievement. This is why the strongest men in history, Carnegie, Ford, Edison, Rockefeller, lived simple lives. They understood that every indulgence carried a cost, that every pleasure granted without earning weakened the resolve. They built empires not with luxury, but with limits. So I say to you now, stop seeking more, seek mastery, stop chasing comfort, chase command, stop filling your life, start forging it. Repeat these words with fire in your spirit. I delay reward, I fast from ease. I resist seduction and I rise above the crowd. I no longer serve what pleases, I serve what builds. Pleasure has no power over a man with purpose. You must become ruthless with yourself, not cruel, but clear. You must strip away every habit that makes you soft, every ritual that makes you dull, every pattern that makes you predictable. You must become sharp, silent, uncomfortable, and unshakable. Society will not applaud this. They will call you obsessive. They will call you extreme. But they are wrong. You are not extreme. You are awake. And most men fear the man who awakens. He reminds them of what they could be, if only they were not slaves to ease. Let your life be a rebuke to weakness. Let your decisions be a war cry against mediocrity. Let your self-control be so fierce that others tremble. Not because you dominate them, but because you have mastered the one thing they never could, yourself. You are no longer a victim of the system. You are the destroyer of it. You are the builder now, the commander, the man who fasts while others feast, who trains while others talk, who suffers while others sleep, and who reaps what the world will never earn because they refuse to pay the price. Say it once more. I delay reward, I fast from ease, I resist seduction, and I rise above the crowd. This is your declaration of independence, not from tyranny, but from temptation, from the mental cages built by a world that wants you comfortable, controllable, and forgotten. You will not be forgotten, because you will not be controlled, because from this day forward, you will not be comforted. You will be called. Let us press onward. The fire grows. Part 6, the power of withholding. Sex transmutation, energy retention, and focus. There is a power within you greater than any force you have ever known. A power so potent, so creative, so overflowing with life and fire that it can either raise you to the heavens or bury you in the grave of wasted potential. That power is your energy, and most men squander it before they ever understand its value. When I studied the most powerful men of our age, Carnegie, Edison, Ford, Rockefeller, I found a secret none of them spoke about in public, but all of them practiced in private: the art of withholding, the redirection of life's strongest force, sexual energy, into work, into vision, into legacy. I do not speak of suppression, I speak of transmutation. a deliberate, conscious conversion of passion into production, of desire into domination, of craving into creation. The same energy that brings life into this world when not wasted builds ideas, systems, wealth, and identity, and the man who withholds becomes unstoppable. Most men never learn this. They waste their power through indulgence. They feel an urge and obey it. They are ruled by sensation, and as a result, they become dull, spiritless, aimless. Their eyes grow heavy, their thoughts slow, their posture collapses. Why? Because what is spilled without purpose depletes the soul. You must not be like most men. You must withhold, and not to punish yourself, but to prepare yourself. Every drop of retained energy is a weapon. Every moment of withheld pleasure is a moment of increased focus. Every day you choose control over release is a day you rise in unseen strength. This principle is not new, it is ancient, but it has been buried by a culture that glorifies indulgence and mocks restraint, a culture that would rather see you addicted than awakened, obedient to impulse rather than in command of your drive. But you, my friend, are no longer one of them. You must now master this inner fire, and do not fear it. Desire is not evil, it is divine, but it must be governed. Like a stallion, it must be bridled and directed toward the race of purpose. Left wild, it tramples your future. Controlled, it carries you to greatness. Edison was a man of deep desire, but his nights were not spent in indulgence. They were spent in labs, in silence, in invention. Napoleon Bonaparte was not celebrated for restraint alone, but for how he harnessed his force into action. He channeled it, directed it, used it. And so must you. I will tell you this plainly. That which you do not waste becomes your weapon. Energy retained sharpens your perception. It strengthens your command. It gives force to your voice, authority to your presence, and clarity to your purpose. This is why men who withhold walk differently. They are not scattered. They are structured. They are not easily distracted. They are decisive. They are not desperate for validation. They radiate from within. The world sees it, even if it cannot explain it. But the man who lives it knows. Let us now speak your affirmations. These must not be whispered. These must be declared. I conserve, I transmute, I redirect my energy into conquest. Nothing in me is wasted. My desire is a servant of my purpose. I do not obey the urge, I command it. Speak them until your body believes them. Speak them until your habits reflect them. Speak them until you walk through the world with power that cannot be explained, because it has been earned in silence. There will be temptation. There will be days when the pull to indulge feels too strong to deny. But remember, every act of indulgence trains your body to rule your mind. Every act of discipline trains your mind to rule your destiny. And you must decide moment by moment who is in command. Repetition builds identity. Say no, again, again, again. And soon you will not merely be resisting, you will be rising. Because every withheld act is a signal to your subconscious that you are in control. And once the mind believes this, it begins to attract results that match your restraint. The principle of cosmic habit force tells us this. Patterns repeated with emotion become fixed, eternal, inescapable. What you do daily, you become permanently. If you want to become a king, act as one. Rule your instincts. Govern your impulses. Move with intention. Deny what weakens. Protect what strengthens. This is the path few take, and that is why few rise. But you were never meant to be common. You are here now because the deeper part of you is tired of being ruled. It is ready to reign, and the crown does not come through indulgence, it comes through mastery. So fast. Wait, withhold, redirect, train, speak, walk, building, and never forget. I conserve, I transmute, I redirect my energy into conquest. Nothing in me is wasted. Now let us go further. For it is not enough to deny pleasure. You must reprogram the mind itself to seek pain with purpose, to love resistance, to crave discomfort. That is where we go next. Part 7, Burning the Pleasure Map. Reprogramming your mind to seek pain with purpose. You have lived most of your life walking paths paved by others, paths built for comfort, not conquest. Your nervous system is wired for ease. Your emotions reward what is soft and recoil at what is sharp. But this, my friend, is not your fault. It is your programming. And it is now your duty to burn that map and draw a new one, a map to power. From birth, you were taught that pain is something to escape, that discomfort is failure, that difficulty is danger. But none of these are true. Pain is not the enemy. Pain is the entrance. Discomfort is not the warning sign. It is the signal that you are approaching the threshold of transformation, the threshold most never cross. Most men never rewire their mind. They remain trapped in the pleasure map, always seeking the path of least resistance. They look for the shortcut. They worship the instant. They chase the reward without paying the price. And the result? A life of mediocrity, a life of half-built dreams and quiet resentment. But you are not most men. And now that you know the truth, you must act. You must recondition your entire frame of reference. You must no longer ask, does this feel good? But does this make me grow? You must no longer seek what soothes, but what scars with significance, what leaves you different. Let me give you the new law. What is difficult is your direction. What hurts is your homework. What you avoid is your assignment. If you truly desire mastery, you must train yourself to walk toward what others run from. And the training begins with repetition. Write this on your door. My purpose is greater than my pleasure. See it every morning. Say it aloud before you leave your room. Speak it again before you sleep. Let it burn into your mind. Let it override the old pattern that says, I will do what feels good. Replace it with, I will do what builds me. That is autosuggestion in its most aggressive, most transformative form. You must train your mind like a warrior. Wake early. Begin your day before the world has its claws in you. Do not wait for motivation. Act as if your life depends on movement, because it does. Do the hardest task first. Deny your appetite. Withhold your reward. Speak least. Execute most. This is not punishment. This is pattern replacement. And when your mind begins to resist, you do not argue with it. You instruct it. You command it. You say, we do not retreat from pain. We run toward it. For what others fear, we feast upon. Let us recall Charles Schwab, a man of steel and purpose. He did not rise by chasing what felt good. He rose by choosing what others would not touch. Responsibility, risk, intensity. He found joy in the fire. He thrived in the furnace because he trained himself to love the very thing that broke lesser men. You can do the same. You must do the same. It begins with thought. It continues with speech. It locks in through behavior. That is the chain of reprogramming. Thought, spoken word, action, identity. If you repeat a thought with emotion, the subconscious accepts it. If you speak it aloud, the body prepares for it. If you act upon it, the brain rewires itself around it. If you persist, it becomes automatic. You become the new man. Now speak these affirmations and let them settle deep. I find joy in resistance. I feel power in restraint. I pursue only that which builds me. My comfort is the enemy. My challenge is my companion. Speak them until you feel the shift, until you no longer flinch at discomfort, until you begin to smile when others would stall. That is the moment you know you have begun the transformation. Understand this, reprogramming is not done once, it is done daily. You are replacing years of soft wiring. This will require discipline, silence, focus, precision. It will require that you take control of every moment that used to control you. This is not a suggestion, it is a survival plan. Because if you do not rewire, the world will do it for you. It will push you back into patterns of passivity. It will reward you for being like everyone else. And you will forget again who you were born to be. But that will not happen. Because you will become the man who burned the pleasure map, who left behind the childish craving to feel good and took up the crown of becoming great, who reconditioned his soul until pain became pleasure and discipline became delight. Say this now, one final time. I no longer seek to feel good. I seek to become good. I do not run from pain. I walk through it. My purpose is greater than my pleasure. Let us proceed. The old man is nearly dead. One more part remains. Part 8. Death to the old self. Step into the new man who fears nothing and seeks everything. You are not here to preserve who you were. You are here to bury him. You are here to execute the version of yourself that hesitates, that pleads for rest, that asks for comfort before completion. The soft man who doubts, delays, drifts, and dies with potential unspent, he must perish. That version of you is over. This is not a metaphor. This is a ritual. The old self must die so that the new one may live. You cannot simply change habits. You must change identity. The man who lives by discipline cannot coexist with the man who lives by desire. One must bury the other, and it must happen now. Every time you act against your comfort, you are not merely training. You are killing weakness. Every time you resist temptation, you are cutting ties with the past. Every repetition of restraint, every act of delay, every moment you choose purpose over pleasure, you are dying to who you were and being born again into who you are meant to be. And who is that man? He is not soft. He is not scattered. He is not seeking applause. He is silent, decisive, direct, and dangerous. He does not explain. He does not complain. He moves. He builds. He destroys what no longer serves. He is not moved by moods. He is moved by mission. He does not beg for strength. He becomes it. He does not ask the world to believe in him. He commands belief through action. He walks with posture. He speaks with intention. He delays gratification. He denies impulse. And he rises regardless of resistance. Let me remind you, you will never go back. Not because you shouldn't, but because you can't. Once a man sees truth, he cannot unsee it. And the truth is this: the world you wanted, the wealth, the power, the influence, the legacy, is not built through comfort. It is built through controlled violence against your lesser self. And the final tool of this new man is affirmation of identity. You must declare who you are, not based on past evidence, but on future decision. You do not become great and then speak it. You speak it and then become it. Write down your definite chief aim. Read it aloud twice daily. Speak your affirmations with emotion, authority, certainty. Say, I am not what I feel, I am what I decide. I am built on purpose, not permission. I am the man who does not hesitate. I fear nothing. I seek everything. Let your mind hear this until it believes. Let your body obey your voice. Let your spirit rebuild itself through repeated declaration and relentless discipline. This is the principle of autosuggestion, as I taught in Think and Grow Rich. You repeat the thought until it becomes belief. You repeat the belief until it becomes behavior. You repeat the behavior until it becomes identity. And once it is identity, you no longer try. You are. And that is what you must become now, a force. Not a seeker of comfort, but a bringer of clarity. A sculptor of self, a destroyer of delay. A man who has buried all traces of fear beneath the stone of decision. You will no longer be ruled by cravings. You will no longer be pulled by emotion. You will no longer bend to the world. You will bend the world to your will, not through shouting, not through pride, but through presence, precision, power. Let others stay comfortable. Let others rest while you rise. Let others explain why they are not where they want to be. You will not explain. You will execute. Say this now. I am not here to feel good. I am here to do what must be done. I am no longer the same. The old man is dead. The new man has risen. Write it, speak it, live it. Let this be the hour of rebirth, No more stalling, no more softness, no more excuses. You are the fire. You are the weapon. You are the war. Let your very existence be proof that a man can rise from the ashes of comfort and become unbreakable. Not because he was born strong, but because he chose suffering over softness, because he acted before he felt ready, because he refused to quit until the world bowed to his spirit. You will walk forward now, not as the man who needed saving, but as the man who saved himself. Now begin. Say your affirmations. Write your chief aim. Deny the craving. Welcome the suffering. Build the new mind. Guard the new identity. And never, ever look back.